What's happening? I'm Reggie Becton, and you know I got soul.
Posted a link a while ago in for your home tour.
Yes.
That was I was telling your publicist like you got COVID. I think I got COVID at the same time, so that was never happening,
Really?
regardless. But I did my research back then. I kind of wanted to just touch on some things from the past before we hop into your project.
Cool.
And something actually, because the link I got sent was on SoundCloud, so I was checking out your bio there, and it said Maryland native, found my sound in Philly, and pursuing my dream in LA. And that stuck out to me. So I want you to kind of just, give me a brief summary of your journey going off of that little statement right there, especially the finding a sound in Philly. If you just want to.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm from PG County, Maryland. And that's like really dear to me. I like love being from that area. I think that there's so much talent there. And I think that like the our taste in music, people from the DMV, is so like eclectic. And I think a big part of it is due to go-go.
Mm.
And I just feel like, like that's where I like developed that. And then I went to college in Philadelphia at Temple University. And when I was out in Temple, that's when I like first bought some studio equipment. I had a scholarship and I won the scholarship and I had more money than I needed that year, that semester. So he sent me the additional money. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy some studio equipment. And I bought like this studio equipment. And that was like the first time I really started recording and recording myself and things like that. And that's why I say I like found my sound in Philly because I think that's where I like tested the waters musically, developed musically, and things like that. And then now I'm living in LA and I've been here for 6 years. So all in all, everything is what up.
Gotcha, man. Why don't you talk about a little bit about your inspirations? Like I said, I was doing research a while ago, and something really stuck out to me again was I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I might have, got it mixed up. I swear you said something about Trinity 57, and I'd never heard anybody talk about them.
Yeah.
That's one of the groups that like I love. Um,
Okay.
and you're the first person, man. Like I'm talking about just people I enjoyed growing up with, like watching interviews, like Brandy Neal, so on, and people who I've actually talked to. They've never brought up Trinity 57, so that's something that blew my mind. But why don't you
Yo,
talk
that's
about a little
crazy.
bit like your inspirations? You could talk about them if you want, especially
Yo,
with
no, I think so. Like, I think they're just part of my like musical sonic development. Like, my mom loved Trinity 57.
Mm.
So when I was a kid, like it was like Trinity 57 albums, and it was like the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. That's who my mom was like listening to. And then when I would be with my dad, we would listen to like Ike Turner and Tina Turner, and we would listen to like Scarface, and we would listen to a lot of Keith Sweat.
Mm.
I think like that's where I got like that side of things. And then my sister, she was growing up in the 90s. So she was listening to a lot of like Brandy, a lot of Destiny's Child and things like that. And that all those sounds kind of always inspired me to just really like fall in love with like R&B and music in general. And then as I started to progress, like I started to listen to like people like I know as a kid, Tank and Avant stood out to me greatly. I don't know, I just thought their voices, their tones were cool to hear as a man in R&B, as a guy growing up listening to R&B. Um, so when I like started recording, I would always like refer to their records and try to emulate their, especially Avant. Like trying to emulate Avant's tone is like something that I always am trying because I think he has just one of the best tones. And then of course, like Brandy is a huge inspiration. I know, like with Brandy and Prince, they're both huge inspirations to me. And they're like people that I found later on in life. Like I always knew about Brandy and Prince, of course, but I did like deep dives in both of their discographies. And that's when I like truly fell in love.
Mm.
And then Marvin Gaye like rounds out my top five inspirations with him just like being a great singer and as soulful as he is. And then he's also from DC, which is like a hometown hero in a way. So like that's a big inspiration as well.
Yeah, man, I could definitely hear a lot of them in your sounds. Um, and let's actually hop into your project because I got the privilege of listening to it early, thankfully.
SadBoy.
Yeah, yeah, SadBoy, exactly. But I really want to talk about comparing the your last project, California, with this, just sonically, because to me they're different, right? Not in a good way or a bad way. They're just different, and I kind of want your perspective on it. Like, did you consciously make that decision to come in a little bit different? You know, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think for me, it's always like being a Prince fan. I think that there's always been like a sophistication to his music, and there always has been like to me like he trained his audience to never get used to one thing. So when I go in and create projects, I kind of take that approach as well, where like California sounds nothing like SadBoy, but California sounds nothing like My Beanie's Orange, and My Beanie's Orange sounds nothing like Thank You for Listening. You know, like so I always purposely try to like switch it up with every project, with every new like era in a way. I
Mm.
try to like switch it up just so that like I train my fans to like never really expect the expected, like always be open to understand the sonic identity or the sonic playground I want to play in during that project.
Got you, bro. Got you. So tell me a little bit about who you were listening to when you made this project. You kind of touched on like your inspirations, but were you listening to like specific people when you made it? Or
Yeah, I was into a lot of like Jameson or JMSN. He's one of my favorite, like he's one of my favorite singers today. So I was listening to a lot of him. He has like great taste, like soul. I was listening to a lot of like Marvin and Prince, of course, two great inspirations on this project. Um, I think Jasmine Sullivan and like just listening to Hotels and how she crafted songs lyrically was also like a big inspiration. Um, but I would say like those are about it. Like, um, yeah, that's about it.
I always love asking that question because you know you can kind of see where the artist is going with that, especially when you mention Prince. We're gonna talk about Sway in a little bit, because I kind of
Okay,
get
okay.
a lot from that. But you know, tell me, was there a certain purpose behind Sad Boy, like a theme or like a meaning behind the project, or is it like a collection of songs more so?
No, there definitely was a meaning. I think in general, like the meaning was like to like create songs that like kind of like redefine sadness and kind of showcase how sadness appears and differently in your life at different times,
Mm.
and that sadness is not necessarily a bad thing. It's something we all feel, and it's something that we all experience. And I think we sometimes run away from like there's certain emotions like we judge, we put negative connotations on, and I just wanted to kind of redefine this term of sadness. And like there's just like running joke or some like fans will come up to me and say like your music is really sad, or people will be like you make heartbreak music and things like that. And I wanted to kind of play into that idea of like this sad music thing and call the project Sad Boy.
Got you. And you know, listening to it all the way through, I definitely see, you know, parts of that concept you have. And just to talk about the project as a whole, man, it reminds me why I'm a fan. You know, it's great. It definitely,
Thank you so much.
no doubt, man. It just has like this flow that California had that too, but this is just like this mellow flow, man, that sit back and listen to it, you know. But let's hop into a few of the songs, and I just kind of
Okay.
want your inspiration behind it, the process we worked with,
Okay.
whatever you want to talk about. Um, let's start out with Sway because that's the one that stuck out to me. I can listen to that like let's say like once a week, and it'll stay in my mind for like 3 weeks. It's just such a catchy song, you know. Like I
Yes.
sing it in my head all the time. So just kind of talk about that song, that single.
Yeah, Sway is one of my favorites on the project. I tell people all the time, like, I wish like all my songs could sound like Sway. I think it's one of the songs that like represents the sonic identity of Sad Boy so well. Like we really wanted when we went in the studio, we really like had this term of like I told people like when I was working with producers for this project, I would tell them like, yo, everything has to have like a bounce to it because I had came from off a tour and I just realized how like music moved people and like how mid tempos and things like that. When you're a new artist, didn't really get people moving. But if you had a nice beat, people would like be more into it. So I'm like, everything has to have a bounce. Like it just has to have a bounce. And I was listening to like a lot of that Writers on the Wall Destiny Child album and like that on 90 R&B style. Like all those songs had like a good like bounce to them. So like that was a like requirement for all the songs. But also with Sway, I was like, I want to be like, I want to do more rock infused music. I want to be more soulful. I want to be more experimental. And I think Sway was kind of one of those songs that when we started to craft out, me and Aiden, who produced it, we started to craft it out in the studio together, and we really fell in love with that sample of like the keys, that organ sample. It sounds like chilling and haunting, and the word sway just kept coming up to me while we were like creating the beat for that song, and I'm like, okay, like sway sounds like a cool title, but like, what do I write about in sway? And there was some inspiration at that time that was like, all right, I understand where this could go, and it's cool to see how Sway appears and like how it comes out. And I wanted the first verse to kind of like be super ambiguous so you didn't know what I was talking about. And then by the chorus, like really like explode and like just keep the energy high. And shout out to Ja, because Ja also helped produce the song. He like did the drums and things on that. And he really like just brought it home. Like he sped it up. Like he just did a lot of those like fine tuning things that made the song even more special.
Mm. It's such a unique song, man. It's definitely like it's a blend of everything we kind of talked about, you know.
Yeah.
I really
Hmm.
love like the rock elements in it too. It's just such a it's unique. It's one of those songs that like I haven't heard ever, I feel, you know. So props to you on
Hmm.
just coming up with that and your whole
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
yeah, for sure. Let's hop into Life, the most recent single. Same thing, just tell me a little bit about it. It's another banger, you know, just tell me. What was your process?
Yeah, I love life. I think that it's one of my favorite. I think with all the songs on like when you listen to like I was listening to California the other day, and I like how much mature like I guess some of the subject matter is. I wouldn't even say mature, but I think like with California, like I was going through a lot and I wanted to write music about what was going on in my life at the time. And I think with SadBoy, it's about what was going on in my life, but it's a lot more fun. I feel like I had a lot more fun creating this project. And also it's a lot more sensual. Cause like no pun intended, but I was just having fun at that time. At the time creating this project, I was having fun in all areas of life. And I like how much more central like the songs on Sad Boy sound and are compared to California. And I think with Life, it's like such a central record, but it's also such a loving record and just such a like calming record in a way. It just feels good when you're listening to it. And I really wanted to create a song that expressed how it feels to like get like some good love and get some good love one time and want it for the rest of your life. So that's kind of how the approach to life came to be. I started it on my guitar, and I have these chords that I just love. Like I play a little bit guitar. Like I'm no John Mayer or Jimi Hendrix, but I play enough to get by, and I play enough to like know certain of my songs if I had needed to do a acoustic set. But there's like one chord that I just love, and I like will craft like new songs to that same chord. And Life was one of those songs that I crafted to that chord. And my producers are like, no, like we gotta find something else. So they changed it a bit. Um, but we once they changed it and they added production, the song that I originally wrote for it did not make sense over it. So we kind of like gave it a full renovation or rehaul, and that's how Life came to be.
It was definitely meant to be the way it came out then, you know,
Yes.
for sure. Let's hop into the two songs right now that stuck out to me. They're not singles on the project. It's the last song and the first song. Letting Go. I don't know, man. It's just production wise and your voice on it. It just does something for me, you know. So just talk about Letting Go a little bit. And then we'll hop into the first song, Sad Boy. But same thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Letting Go. Um, it's one of my favorite too. Like I feel like like you said, like the first and last song, they are both like standouts in a way. I think with letting go with that approach, we really like writing that song. We really wanted to. We was like in the studio. We was like, yo, let's make the most beautiful breakup song ever. And shout out to Ariana Wong and Ja who helped me also write that one. And I think it's cool because it like I think it leaves the project on like high note, it leaves you back in like a more it's a sad song, but it doesn't it depends on how you take it. Like if you're really paying attention to the lyrics, then it definitely feels sad. But if you just listen to the beat, it feels like a sunny day in California driving down to the beach, you know? But the subject and the lyrics we're talking about is hella sad. Like you're talking about seeing someone for the last time. And I don't know, I just love juxtaposition in music and juxtaposition in like life. So we really just wanted to create something that felt like a mature breakup. Like we both understand we can't continue down this road. So let's part ways in a completely copacetic way.
Mm. I think, like you said, like letting go is it kind of just shows what this project is in my eyes in terms of the juxtaposition. Like this,
Yes.
but it has this, like you were talking about in the beginning, like that bop, that feel, that bounce.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the perfect song to kind of just really that captures that. And tell me a little bit about the first song, Sad Boy.
And yeah, Sad Boy is like, I don't know, to me, like it's the song that represented the sonic identity the most, like R&B in Gotham City. I feel like that song feels like like the Joker
Yeah,
origin story. It feels like the beginning of a film. And while I was creating this project, I was heavily inspired by like films like The Dark Knight and Kill Bill, and just how music played a part in those films to really create an experience and to really set a mood. So with the songs that we created for Sadway, I really wanted to make sure the mood of all of them and the feeling of all of them was captured and felt as you listen to it. And I think with that song, it just feels like like it feels like a theme song. It feels like a song that over encompasses all of my experiences in love and just why I am the way I am. To me, like it feels like the introduction of a character, and it's the introduction of Sad Boy and the world he's been living in.
yeah, man. I love that concept and everything. That's why I think I like your music and I enjoy it, and the team enjoys it because you really just put thought into your music. And a lot of people they don't necessarily do that anymore. You know,
Mm-hmm.
some artists do, some artists don't, but yours definitely comes across as a storyteller. Um, and now I gotta ask now because I know it's Sad Boy Volume One. Is there Volume Two coming, or is it
There
just
is a volume 2 coming. Volume 2 is tentatively coming in the fall.
all right?
Super excited about it. We created some of the songs during the Sad Boy sessions. So I'm excited to like go back in and like start to listen to them and see like what we structure the rest as. But yeah, Sad Boy 2 is really definitely coming in the fall.
Awesome. I don't know if you could talk anything about it, but is it similar sonically as this project?
I would say sonically it's similar. There's like the R and bounce thing. I know that I want it to be a bit brighter and a little less Gotham City-ish for Sad Boy Volume 2. Um, but who knows? I always like I feel like I find my projects while I'm recording them. So like that's the intentionality I'm going in to the studio with to get like some brighter, some more like movement, some more grooves. But some days I wake up like, yeah, I don't think I'm finished in my dark era. I'm not finished yet. So it just all depends how I feel that day.
Still in your the Batman era right now.
Exactly.
Let's hop into well, first of all, I'm looking forward to that, the second part, second
Thank
volume.
you.
But this is something that really I wanted to touch on. You writing for Alex Vaughn. Just
Yes, yes.
tell me how that experience happened. I love Darkchild, and I'm glad you got to work with him. And it kind of goes back to Trinity 5-7, how you work with them.
Hmm.
Full circle type of moment. So tell me,
Such a full circle type of moment.
you can't,
Um,
can't make them up.
Yeah, I think like working with Alex was great. Like we're both from the same city, so we both understand each other very well. And like we actually met on set of my issues video. She came on set of that, and we met through a friend named KB. That was the first time we met in person, and we kind of just like kept in touch from there, and our relationship continued to grow. Then I got a call to like go write some songs for her in Florida with Rodney Jerkins. And I was like super excited to go. And I hopped on a plane and we went. and I got to meet me and Alex just got to chop it up a lot during that time. And like we after that we like went in and me and Bashay who helped me write like So Be It and some of the other songs we just started knocking songs out and Alex has so much talent that she makes it easy and like you said like it's like a lot of artists that's not intentional these days and I felt like being in the studio with Alex was like being in the studio with my reflection in a way because she was so intentional. She cared about every line she worked. I mean, she cared about every line she sang. There were certain lines that like we would write, and she would be like, "No, that's not really me," and she would change it, and it would be so much better. You know what I'm saying? It would be so much authentically her that it would be cool. She's down to take risks. Like she's not rigid in any way, and she's like just really like a sweet person in general. And the team surrounded her like um her sister, her manager, Money, like they're all just like great fucking people that make it super easy to like work for. So I was super happy that I got that opportunity. And then when it was like Rodney Jerkins was attached to it, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. Like he produced Full Moon, which is like my favorite R&B album. And I really got to sit in the studio with him for a week and eat food and just soak up so much knowledge and like game and gems and techniques from him. And like even when I was there, I got to like he was playing songs. I'm gonna just leave that one out. But I got to hear songs that are out now with artists that he was working with at the time, and it was just cool to see like how he is still of like a student of the game, and he's still embracing all the new acts like Scissor. He's on Scissor's album, like he's embracing everybody. Like he's just a champion of talent and loves his music in general, and he gets it. Like he understands drill, he understands R&B of the 90s, but he also understands what R&B is today and he embraces it all. And I think that was so cool to see someone who's about 20, 30 years into their career still be open and still be like down to like listen to the new music of today, of today's time, and not judge it in a negative light.
Absolutely. I mean, Darkchild to me in the team too, but like me personally, man, like the best producer, one of my top five, and I think like you just said, just learning from stuff like that from him shows why he's still relevant to this day, you know.
No, really. I forgot to bring my Never Say Never album to get him to sign it. But I texted him one after the session. I was like, yo, I need you to sign this. He was like, I got you. Next time I see you.
Next, oh, you didn't get a sign, so you're gonna get next time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And I'm trying to get a full moon vinyl, but I haven't been able to find one yet.
I just actually copped the Never Say Never vinyl. It ran me a few, bucks. I'm gonna say that. But yeah,
It's crazy. I just copped one too, and I still ain't get it yet.
yeah.
Like I copped it like at the beginning of the year, and I did not get it yet.
I copped like an old one though, like from '98. I think that
Oh, you got it in your bag. Okay.
I had to go on my bed. That's my favorite album personally,
You
man.
got the authentic one. That's great.
I mean, that's the
What's your favorite song on the album? That album?
I'll never say never. That's a great question, bro. Because I love every single song. Some days it's Angel in the Skies. Some days it's
Okay.
One Voice. It depends how
Okay.
it's, even the title track, Never Say Never. And this is perfect segue kind of into what I was gonna ask later, but I would
Okay.
ask your favorite songs. But if you want to talk about Never Say Never, man, we can talk about that album. Because I
Yeah.
see just this is why I like your music. I see things from Brandy and these artists that I look up to and we all love, and we love showcasing to our audience.
Hmm.
Let's talk. If you want to talk about that album, man, go ahead. Like,
Yeah, like no, I think all Brandy albums are just like masterclass in everything you can in everything R&B, like from the production, like if you're a producer, like the production on there is light years ahead of the shit that's been making today.
yeah,
Like when you think about her vocals and harmonies and background arrangement and stacking, and even like, like light years ahead of everything today. Ad lib placement, like light years ahead.
mhm,
And I think like on Never Say Never, it was just like this like to me that was the start of like, all right, they found the magic. You know what I mean? And I think like songs like Angel in Disguise, it's just like crazy. Like, what do you mean? How do you think? Like, how do you think of something like that?
Makes
And
sense.
like for me, like when you listen to a song like Streets and it's the at the end of it, it's like calling me. To me, that is a super rip off of Brandy and Part of Me. I can't really think what song it's but it's like Part
I,
of Me. You know what I mean? Um she does that at the end of one of her songs, and I was like, yo, I have to do that. Like, as soon as I heard the beat, I'm like, this just fits perfect of it, like. So, that was one that Streets came that was heavily inspired by it. Um, so much, but my favorite song, Never Say Never, is Put That on Everything. That's like my top three. That's like probably a top two Brandy song for me in life in general. Put That on Everything. It's just like it's just everything works in that song so well together. Or if you even listen to like ETGME on California, like there are some of the same production elements that's found and Put That on Everything in ETGME. And that's so specifically done because in ETGME is the first song I ever produced
oh,
for
wow.
myself. And I had like these loops sent to me and like all these files, and there was like a Darkchild photo with like some of the loops and sounds he uses in his records. And I
Mm.
was like, oh, if I'm gonna produce a record, I'm definitely going into the Darkchild bag.
No, absolutely. You actually took the question that I wanted to ask and you answered it perfectly. So thank you, because I hear all that stuff in your productions, man, and just like your songs and your songwriting. And I think the song that you were talking about is Learn the Hard Way, the part of me,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
which is definitely one of my top songs as well.
That's a great one too.
But yeah, man, we can talk about Brandy all day, so let's go back to you and then
Okay, okay, okay. So for sure we could.
um just tell me a little bit about your plans for this year. You already talked about Volume 2, but is there some plans for the future that you want to accomplish? Any goals this year for 2023? You could talk about that. Let us know.
Yeah, no, like of course, putting Sad Boy out as a priority and making sure that like that comes out successfully on May 5th. And then we'll probably do some touring, some spot dates in select areas. We still got that New York show to make up. So
Yeah,
that's what like my booking agent is definitely on me about. Um and we have a Sad Boy short series coming in the summer. It'll be 7 episodes, all inspired by the music of Sad Boy. And each episode features one of the songs, like it's based and centered around the song. And I'm excited about that because I got to like it's something I created with my director Chris Felix, and I got to act in it, and I also got to like bring the music to life. I think one thing we knew that we wanted to do, going back to like capturing feeling and being as heavily inspired by like cinema and TV, we wanted to create a visual identity for the world that Sad Boy lives in. Let people experience the music that way. So that's coming in the summer for 7 weeks. So I think that'll be a really cool thing. And then like I'll start recording Sad Boy Volume 2, which I'm super excited about. We recorded some songs that I really fucking love right now, and then it'll probably come out in the fall, and then we'll probably like tour it later on in the fall. So all exciting things, but like that's a lot where my schedule is for now. Who knows what could happen though?
got you. Now I'm looking forward to all that, man, especially that 7 week, like basically movie that's coming.
Yeah, it's like a short film, but we just wanted to break it up in episodes. I'm a big fan of TV and like binge watching things. So I'm like, let's break it up into 7 episodes, and then it gives us 7 weeks in the summer consistently to like be dropping a piece of visual content that I think people will really enjoy.
Yeah, and nowadays you gotta kind of break it up like that because nobody's gonna, no one's gonna sit through that seven, straight through. Sadly, you know.
Exactly.
But we usually do this closing segment called Rapid Questions, and
I love rapid questions.
we're gonna hop into that. But if you want, there's two other questions I had. If you want to kind of just briefly touch on them,
Yeah,
um,
let's do them.
what's it called? Camper. I know you worked with him too during that time. Did you learn anything?
Yeah.
You want to just briefly say anything about him?
Oh no, Camper, working with Camper was great. He's like super cool. He's from I want to say he's like from Atlantic City. So he's from the East Coast. And like so he's just super down to earth. I think the greatest thing about working with Camper was just like he has a talent of making everybody comfortable, and it's not like I don't know if he intentionally does it, like, but it's just like an energy that surrounds him, or aura around him that I feel like it's just like I don't know. I feel like when I was there in his studio, like it's just a very comfortable setting to be in and to work out of. And one thing I loved about working with him or seeing him work was how encouraging he was of Alex and like supporting and like me in general and me at the same time, but really Alex and like supporting her vision and what she wanted to bring to music and like how patient he was with like her writing because she's very again intentional about what she wants to say. So she wants to think about it. She wants to decide on it. It's just the right way to say these things. I think that was the coolest thing to watch him be patient because sometimes a lot of times you can go in the studio and you could be writing songs and producers can like make you feel a bit like rushed or
Mm.
that you're taking too long because like some people record faster, some people don't necessarily put that much thought in it, not to say that they're making music that is thoughtless, but I know even with me sometimes I'm in the studio and I'm like really going back and forth for 20 minutes over one line because it's that important to me. And he just really took his time with all the songs we created and he's just cool. Like he's a ball of energy. So that was cool to see. And like I don't seeing him work in person, I didn't understand the magnitude of a piano player he was. He has just great like his piano chops are like phenomenal and he has great like musicality and choice direction. Like if you listen to the end of Demon Time and how it switches to that piano section, it's just like genius. Like how did you come up with that? So that's what it was kind of like working with Camper and Alex during that session.
Yeah, the end of Demon Time really is insane. Like
I love Demon Time.
it's really crazy. My last question before we hop in the rapid questions. Again, this goes back to the research I did a minute ago. So if you just want to clarify on it, you were working like a 9 to 5, right? Are you still working a 9 to 5? Or you?
Yes, I'm still working a 9 to 5, which keeps me highly like, which keeps me very tired to be completely honest. It's not something I thought I would be working this long, but it like really helps when it comes to like funding different things and creative adventures and creative endeavors that I want to do. So I'm super grateful that I have it. You know,
How do you balance that life? Like, you have any advice for people that I'm sure a lot of artists are trying to do that, and you seem to do it so
right.
well. So how do you balance it? Like, how do you keep your mind set straight? I know you said you're tired, but you're still doing your thing. So
Yeah, there's a lot of like no sleep, like so it's like getting used to figuring out how to function off of 3 to 4 hours of sleep every day is a true talent of mine. Um, so like that's a big part of it. I think it's great because like being able to have your own money to invest in your own career is great. Like, like you can get a distro deal, you can get all these different things. You can get an investor, but let's say you want to create a video series and the investor doesn't believe in it and doesn't want to pay for it. At least you have your own money to say, okay, I can front it, I can pay for it, and like fund my own opportunity. So I think that's one of the cool aspects of it.
mm,
Um, I think another way I manage it is like I don't take vacation. Like all my like vacation time or like paid time off goes to like music gear things. So like it's like trying to like use music as like the fun part of your life as your hobby because it's your hobby anyway and especially when you're early on like it's super your hobby like right now it doesn't feel like a hobby for me anymore as much and I'm still in the place of trying to figure out is that a bad or good thing. But like I use all my vacation time. If there's a tour coming up, that's when I go on vacation. And then I'll tour, and then I'll try to like have 2 or 3 days at the end of that vacation period just for myself to kind of like have some space between both things that I'm working on. Um, I like use a lot of sick time off to like take mental health days and to take when I'm really tired. Sometimes I used to use sick days for those days. So it's a lot of like finesse. It's a lot of like trying to figure out the balance of it all. Um, and it's a lot of like sleepless nights and just getting used to being tired. And now I'm at a place like, I've been doing I've been working there. I've been working for like 7 years as I've been making this music thing. And now I'm finally in a place where I'm like, all right, I could leave the job and be pretty good, but I don't want to leave just yet. I want to like give it a little bit more time. I always told myself I would leave when it was like just impossible to do both.
Mm.
And right now it's not it hasn't became impossible. It's become a lot harder. It's become so much harder to the point where like now I'm truly like prioritizing my rest and like I don't I'm just figuring out how to balance all things now. In general. So it's cool now to see.
Yeah, man, I gotta say, just I respect you for that, and I just think you're doing your thing for real, man. Like
Thank you. I appreciate it.
hard, but like much respect. I'm happy to hear that you're doing your thing, and I appreciate just the head on your shoulders, and like that mindset that you're grinding. You gotta do your thing. So yeah, man. But let's hop into these rapid questions. My
Let's do it.
we kind of touched on a few of them already, but
Okay.
I'll ask them anyway, and you
Okay,
just
cool.
if you think we could talk about it if you want. But yeah, let's hop into it. Favorite album.
I always tell people like, okay, I'll just Full Moon and Prince's Love Symbols are like equally my favorite album. Um, and then like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is up there too. The Voyage to India by India Ari, all time classic. Um, but yeah, those four are just like staples to me, like Full Moon, Love Symbol, My Beautiful Dark Twisted 20, and Voyage to India are just like staples that like I listen to often. Also, like I'm a big Christopher Cross fan,
Mhm.
so his album is like one of my favorites too. But yeah, those are like just what I listen to a lot when I need inspiration.
Definitely, I say the same thing, but I see that in your music, man. Like all those albums you mentioned, especially the Kanye one. I kind of I feel parts of that in Sad Boy right now.
Yeah, like the experience. Kanye is just like uh, I just feel like when I was a kid, Kanye, or when I was like in middle school, Kanye came and it was just like, oh, there are black people who understand me, and like that's how I felt like, yo, there are black men who are creative like this, and like will wear fucking red skinny jeans and like make it okay. And then when you think about like Prince, he's like
Yeah.
he's like the same way where like, oh, like you mean to tell me you can still be a man and wear like booties and leather straps, and still get attention from the ladies, like you know what I'm saying? Like when I started to learn more about Prince's life and his career, I was just like, like this is the definition of a man. You know how people like try to represent manhood as so singular and just so like macho? I'm like, no, Prince is the definition of a man. And people try to like play with his manhood and things like that. And I think he was like one of the most free men in life or masculine men that we ever saw. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. He is an icon because of that, you know?
Yeah,
Like, there's not much to even say because you can't even touch that. Like,
exactly.
um, favorite song right now.
Favorite song right now. Let me check my iTunes. I love White Crocs by Jordan Ward.
Oh, yeah.
Love that fucking
Oh,
song. Um, I'm just gonna go and give you a little of what I'm listening to. I like French Montana's Push Star with like Coi Leray. I don't
okay.
know. I was watching some like live Coi Leray performance and she was performing that and I thought it was so cool. I love the new Doechii single.
Yeah,
Um, Leia Sailor Moon. I don't know if you know Leia, but Sailor Moon. I've been listening to that like a lot. I love that fucking song. Storm Ford 21.
that
Love that song. Storm Ford is like a singer-songwriter, and she's like, I'm not sure where she's from. I want to say I know her manager is from Maryland, but like she's like Jasmine Sullivan. Like she has so great vocal. Her her vocals are just fucking one of a kind, and her tone is great, and she has a great pen. So been listening to a lot of that, and then a lot of Day Blue Moon is a top song of mine right now. I've been listening to like that's what I've been listening to when I'm not listening to Sad Boy.
You got a lot of variety in there, man. Honestly, it's funny you brought up Coi Leray. I'm an R&B like lover at heart, but I don't
Mhm.
know. Coi Leray, she does something for me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is and when it like hit me, but I'm like, this is cool. Like, I think it's like also her being authentically herself, like when
Mm.
you just like are just doing you and living in your own world, I think it's refreshing to see.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And honestly, man, you're like that too in terms of yourself. You're unique. You are yourself, and I see that in the music. So, you know, and to kind of bring it back to that Sailor Moon track too, that's another song that's just like interviewed her before, the artist.
Nice.
She's another one, man. She's herself. You know,
Yeah, no, she's super cool. And I got to meet her once at this event. And when I met her at first, they introduced and she said her name and it didn't register. And then I started thinking about it more, and I was like, wait, like you sing Sailor Moon? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, give me a hug. You're super great. And like she was just mad cool and mad warm in general. So like that was a cool thing to meet and be able to give her flowers because I really love that song and her voice even like that, like her voice is so like sultry and the way she's singing over like these like hard ass beats is so cool.
Mhm. Absolutely. Tell me your favorite single off of Full Moon. Well, favorite song.
Ooh, favorite song off of Full Moon.
Mm.
That's a hard one.
That was a
All
hard
right, when you touch me is definitely up there. I love I Thought.
one. Mm.
Honestly, like when you after like it just goes on a run from like 2 to 10. It's just like this run of like never ending jams. But no, I love Full Moon. I love Full Moon, honestly. When you touch me, I mean, yeah, like I think for me, like 2 to 10 is where the really magic happened for me.
Yeah, no, I agree
And
with
that
I agree.
probably 2 to 12, honestly. Even the intro, when I put on the intro, like even her intro, when you think about like it sounds like, like a theme song if I just start. It sounds like 007 is the B Rocket intro. So I even listen to that. Like I'm not listening to Full Moon without the intro playing. Like I need it all.
Yeah, for real, man. It's the same thing with Never Say Never. Like the intros on those,
Hmm.
the interludes, and just the
Yeah,
flow.
it just takes you on an experience. Like it truly is an experience album to listen
Absolutely,
to.
absolutely. Now, this question, it might be one of the albums you talked about already, but
Okay.
album you wish you were featured on.
Ooh. Rihanna Anti.
Really? You got
Yeah.
the thought behind that.
I love Rihanna. Like she's also one of my favorites. And like that album, it's just like flawless. And all the production on it is cool. Like all the songs are so well written. So that's when I would want to be on to just like be able to have a verse on one of those songs. It's just like, all right. And I'll like give me any one of them. Like literally pick anyone randomly and I'm okay with it. I'm hopping on it.
It's kind of like I don't know if the word is right, but like the capstone of this alternative modern R&B. You know,
Yeah, like and like not only that, but it's also such a wide variety album in the sense where like she's going from rock to country to like folk to EDM all on this one album and somehow it all works together. Like
yeah, for real. A song you wish you wrote.
oh, In the Air by Destin Conrad. Like
That was quick, man.
oh, bro, I'm wearing that song like isn't my most played for like the last two since it came out. That song has been my most played year to year. He's talented. That guy, he gets it. He understands R&B. He understands music a great deal, and I don't think people are giving him enough credit for what he's bringing to R&B right now. Like he is, I don't know. He's going crazy right now.
I agree that people are definitely sleeping on him. He's definitely getting more traction now.
Yeah, he's definitely. Yeah, you can see the traction building, and I'm happy that he's getting a moment because he deserved it. He's very talented.
Yeah, man, for sure. Is there a particular reason you picked that song? Like, is it lyrically? Is it?
It's everything like the beat, the harmonies, the melodic, the melody of it, the lyrics, like everything is 10 out of 10 on that. Like they got everything right in that song.
I agree with you. I got two more. This is a simple one, but a dream collab of yours. Could be a producer, a writer, and a singer, anybody. You can mention a few if you want, but
I would say it's hard. Like, like you have like your older acts that you want to work with, but it's like newer.
yeah.
I always say like PJ Morton is somebody that I'm dying to work with. Her also dying to work with her. Of course, Brandy is there. I got to work with Tank, so like that was cool. Um, and Avant, I think like those people, Avant, her, PJ Morton, Brandy. I'm trying to think if there. Oh, I would love to work with Saba and Amine and Gold Link. So like that's like the rappers I would like to work with.
No, yo, Gold Link is I haven't listened to him in a minute, but I used to love him, man. So
Bro, Gold Link is phenomenal. Like, and I'm like the degree of separation is closing in of people that I know that knows him. So I'm like, all right, hopefully that can happen
yeah,
soon.
that'd be
Like a Sway remix with Gold Link would be like top tier.
hopefully that happens, man. That'd be amazing. That would be it'd definitely be to go back to you again, this unique sound, but he has that as well, and then
Mm-hmm.
them two together.
Would be
Uh,
crazy.
I hope we can see that, man. I really do.
Me too. Maybe on volume two he'll pull up.
Yeah, you never know, manifesting, man. And my last question, and there's only one you could pick for this, is your favorite off of Sad Boy.
Self control.
What happened?
I said self control.
Self control, really.
Yeah, I think for me, like right now, that song just like it's like to me, it's like a sad boy anthem. I feel like, like it's like to me, like all the other songs are like this redefining of sadness. And self control is like the one song that we play into like the stereotypical idea of sadness. To me, it's like the ultimate simp anthem, and I'm like kind of always simping, and it just feels like I put it on and I never can like just listen to it once. That's how to me like strong the feeling of that song is. Like if I'm having a bad day, if I'm down, I'm just like putting that on and then like it just feels the way I feel at that time. So like I just feel like it feels like comfort food to me. Like that's how that feels.
Mm. Yeah, I'm a simp too, man. So that song, I feel it as well. But yeah, man, look, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I'm a fan, and I really can't wait for more. Um,
No, I appreciate you for taking the time out your day and also like really, preparing and like really asking great questions that, really dive into the journey and things like that. I think a lot of times, like oftentimes independent artists, at least with my journey, we don't get the liberty and opportunity to speak about our careers as much because I guess they don't have as much fun or like there's not as much big opportunity. Like there's not as much like grandness in some of our careers as of yet because we're still emerging. But I'm thankful that you actually like listened to the music, you paid attention to like some of the recent achievements and movement and traction that's been garnered and asked thoughtful questions. That means a lot.
thank you, man. I appreciate you even mentioning that. And for real, we love bringing people we actually enjoy and you know that we think deserve the spotlight. So you're one of those artists, so we had to bring you on. And
No,
when you
thank you
come
so
back to
much.
the city, man, you know I gotta be up in in the spot. So
I got you, man. We trust you. We will. We'll make sure what.
it's for sure, man. I think that's about it. And like I said, I'm excited for everything you're about to do, and I'm looking forward to your future in music, man. And best of luck with everything for real.
No, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.